The last thing I want to cover is content. Quest continues to have the very best slate of virtual reality games. We've got Marvel's Deadpool VR, ILM's Star Wars Beyond Victory, and Demio by Dungeons & Dragons, Battlemarked, all launching this fall. It has also been really neat to see how many people are using Quest to watch video content. It's just a lot more immersive. So we think that this category, watching video content, is going to be a huge category, both in virtual reality headsets and on glasses, too. So we're launching a new entertainment hub that we are calling Horizon TV. And we are working with a bunch of great partners to include a bunch of movies and TV and live sports and music. So I'm excited to announce that Disney Plus is coming to Horizon TV and bring along content from Hulu and ESPN. And we are working with a bunch of great partners to include a bunch of movies and TV and live sports and music. So I'm excited to announce that Disney Plus is coming to Horizon TV and bring along content from Hulu and ESPN. We are also partnering with Universal Pictures, an iconic horror company, Blumhouse. So you can watch horror movies like The Black Phone or Megan with 3D special effects that now will take over your space. Horizon TV also supports Dolby Atmos, and it's going to support Dolby Vision soon, too. So you're going to have rich colors, crisp details, and spatial sound for a more immersive experience than you could have with traditional TV. All right. I am really excited about what these new technologies are going to unlock for artists and entertainment. I think that the shift towards more immersive storytelling, and 3D storytelling, it's going to be one of the more exciting developments in the coming years. And I think that it's going to drive a new wave of adoption of virtual reality and glasses. So I wanted to close today by hearing from the pioneer of immersive, cutting-edge storytelling with CGI, 3D filmmaking, and more. So please join me in welcoming to the stage legendary filmmaker James Cameron, along with our very own Boz again. All right, thank you.
All right, well, thank you, Mark. James Cameron really needs no introduction. I am going to try, out of respect. The most famous filmmaker, unprecedented hit rate in Hollywood, but also, and critically for our partnership, a real pioneer in technology, consistently pushing the technology he needs to fulfill his creative vision, as Mark said, whether that be in 3D, storytelling, or even building a submarine. He's done the whole range. So thank you for coming to Connect. We're so glad to have you.
It's a huge honor. I mean, this is such a big day for you guys, and I'm glad you were able to squeeze me in. Appreciate it.
Anytime, really. So you and I have talked a lot about your passion for 3D filmmaking, and it goes back a long ways, 2 decades, really. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about where that comes from, why you believe so strongly in this.
I've spent my filmmaking career trying to really engage people, draw them in, get them involved in the story and the characters. I was first exposed to 3D filmmaking in 1998, I think, and it was massive film cameras. It was for a thing for Universal for a ride show. I thought, we got to be able to do this better. And then when digital cameras came along, I was a super early adopter. I think there was George Lucas and then me, and that was in 99, 2000. And I said, why can't we just slap 2 of these things side by side and make 3D, you know? Well, it turned out to be a lot more complicated than that. And so 25 years later, I'm pleased to say I've got a great 3D team, and we've made it all. We not only made my films, but we've made the 3D cameras available to a lot of other filmmakers doing concert films and sports for TV, which didn't last long, but and you know, lots of big movies, Ridley Scott, that sort of thing. I just love 3D personally. I love authoring in it. I love seeing the end result when it's done properly. And I think it's how we perceive the world. Why would we throw away 50% of our data, and see everything through a single eye? It makes no sense to me. And I just see a future which I think can be enabled by the new, devices that you have, the Quest series, and then some of the new stuff, hopefully, that's coming down the line, right? I think we're looking at a future that's a whole new distribution model where we can have theater-grade 3D, basically on your head.
And one of the things that's interesting, you talked a lot about how, when we first met, you talked about how much the visual fidelity matters to you, and the brightness of the screen, and the fullness of the effect that you're getting from it. And for a long time, the headsets weren't there. They weren't even as good as TV, let alone theater. Now we're seeing something different, and you've been able to put the headset on, and you've been working so hard now on Avatar, Fire and Ash coming in December.
Right.
You've gotten a chance to see some of these pieces in headset, and you had a pretty surprising reaction to me. You said that's how you thought it should be seen.
This is, it's interesting because I've been fighting so hard with movie theaters to get the brightness levels up, to install laser projection, but they're caught in an earlier paradigm. And, no business can survive being stuck in technology 15 years old. So, when I put on the Quest 3 and I saw some of my own content, which I knew because I have the sort of baseline calibration for that. I know what it's supposed to look like. And to see it at light levels beyond the SEMTI standard for theater projection. The very, very best you're going to see in a theater is 16-foot Lamberts. Most theaters are at 3-foot Lamberts, which is like nits, but it's the theater version of it.
A lot of people out there Googling foot Lambert right now.
Right? And so, and the Quest is at 30 foot Lamberts equivalent if you do the conversion from nits. And so that's an order of magnitude brighter, and the brightness gives you the dynamic range, it gives you the color space as it was meant to be, and that's so much more engaging. And the work that you guys have done in the Quest series to expand the field of view, to get the brightness, to get the spatial resolution, to me it's like being in my own private movie theater.
I do think that's one of the reasons Horizon TV ends up being, why it's happening now. It's always been kind of an idea, and we've always been about to do it. We never quite brought it together now, and I love the response that we got from the audience. Who knows? That's true. We just have never quite pulled it all together. And I think the difference is we finally have the displays to do it.
You got it.
We have something to offer here that even TV can't necessarily rival.
Exactly. I mean, you mostly look at flat displays, phones, laptops, wall panels, all that sort of thing. This is going to be, I think, a new age. Because we experience the world in 3D, our brains are wired for it, our visual neurobiology is wired for it, and we've been able to prove that there's more emotional engagement, there's more sense of presence. If you're going to watch a Blumhouse film, a horror film, your fight-flight reflex is more engaged, right? Hopefully, if you're watching a love story, you'll cry an extra tear or so. I don't know how measurable it is in hard metrics because it's a bit subjective, but I want to say maybe 20% more engagement, right? So my vision is a stereo ubiquity future where all of our feeds, our news, our entertainment content, our live stuff, sports, of course, right? And you guys have been writing some amazing UIs for sports. Am I supposed to talk? I can't talk about that. Okay. Anyway, the point is, it's all this.
Can't take this guy anywhere.
This stuff is not. Shh. Okay. Nobody in this room can say a word. Okay, and I trust you guys. But it's all imminent. This is not something that's pie in the sky down the line. And so I think our task, the reason that we've partnered, and it's under. If I can say it, it's under Bob Morgan and Content and Sarah Melkin. And our gig right now, it's there.
Yeah, there they are.
Yeah. Our gig right now is to get other filmmakers and showrunners, because, by the way, I think episodic television, short form, long form, I think that's the low-hanging fruit that people have historically ignored because so much 3D content was just made for movies. I'm not talking about Avatar. I can't make movies fast enough to feed this pipeline. What we do at Lightstorm Vision, my 3D company, is we build cameras and systems and networking and tools to give to other to supply to other filmmakers.
To generously help.
To generously help.
For only a small
for
fee.
A small fee. Other filmmakers and showrunners and broadcasters and so on, to be able to create this avalanche of content that there will be an enormous demand for.
And this is the thing that I think is underappreciated. You are driving down over time the cost that it's going to take to build these kinds of productions, so it can be done much more conventionally. It used to be an incredible. You know, when you're doing the first Avatar,
it's a bad example.
It's just cutting edge. Everything is hard. Everything is expensive, and you're trying to bring it into conventional productions so that people doing any kind of production are able to bring this content, this rich of an experience, to their audience who wants to invest in it.
Sure, and it's not only just bringing down the hardware, but it's making the hardware smarter. There's a lot of software solutions and downstream digital solutions and so on. We want to make the stuff so idiot-proof that we can put a production camera or production system in the hands of anybody, anywhere, and it will take care of, you know, the decision-making around what makes good stereo, what makes it easy on our eyes, easy on our brains, where we're not getting eye strain and all those things. So it's taken us 25 years to figure out the kind of algorithm for that. We want to make it a real algorithm and build it into this gear and make it available. And then that will enable, you know, I can't make this stuff fast enough, but there's thousands of people producing tens of thousands of hours a year of content, and it will flow across your devices. Yeah, and if you think about going from, like, you know, autofocus, you have the ability to, interocular distance can be an automatic calculation. Stereo, basically.
Auto stereo. So. Yeah, this is one of the things that really, I think, has made this partnership so great, and you get a sense, I think, of it from the two of us. We're effusive about the partnership, is you are somebody who's had a creative vision. You start with a creative vision. You start with a product. You start with an idea of the story you want to tell and how you want people to experience that story, and you work backwards, and you attack all those pieces. Tell me, you looked at, when did you first come up with the Avatar idea?
I was 19 when I had a dream about a bioluminescent forest. I wrote the treatment in 1995, so I've been making Avatar in some form in my mind and then in practice for over 30 years.
Yeah, it's incredible. And so in 1995, the thing that you need doesn't exist yet. You have to
none of it existed.
You know, so I hope you kind of see the parallels between a Mark Zuckerberg and a James Cameron, people who see a future. I mean, I've been doing this work in reality labs for 10 years now, and it is. We're obsessive about a vision of the future, which we haven't arrived at yet, but we do see the progress. I will say it kind of finally feels like it's going downhill now. Like it's starting to feel like it's picking up momentum, not only in the hardware, but also in the content side.
You are willing a future into existence that you saw clearly. And this moment in history feels a lot to me like it did back in the early 90s, late 80s and early 90s, when CG was first manifesting itself. And you're going to replace actors, and it'll never look real, and you know, analog is the answer. And that's why I founded a company called Digital Domain. I wanted, you know, it was revolutionary in its moment. It's ho-hum today, and it's ubiquitous today. So I've actually seen historically in my own life experience how you can actually make massive change. And, you know, and then that led to 3D. Okay, everybody accepts the fact that we go to digital movie theaters now, right? Obvious, right? Except that when the digital technology existed, it wasn't adopted right away. It took 3D to get the theaters to convert to digital projection.
It took you.
Well, we were in the middle of that.
Release.
Yeah, we were right in the middle.
Unless they updated the theaters.
Yeah, and it was actually talking to the team at Texas Instruments that developed the chip that made digital projection possible, and saying, embed in your servers and in your electronics the ability to carry two image streams. And because they did that, then digital projection just rolled out, and now it's everywhere other than the occasional art house someplace with a 35 millimeter print. But when you've lived through enough of these revolutions, you start to see them coming as a wave, like a good surfer. I know you surf.
That's right.
I watch it from the beach.
You watch it from underwater.
I watch it from underwater.
Listen, we've got one more exciting piece coming. I want to thank you again for coming to Connect. It's really our honor to have you. I can't wait to check out Avatar Fire and Ash, as I'm sure everyone here will agree, when it hits the theaters in December 19th.
Thank you.
Thank you. And as a special surprise, we have an exclusive, never-before-seen, stunning 3D clip from Avatar Fire and Ash for everyone to check out in demo stations here for attendees and available on all MetaQuest devices in Horizon TV for a limited viewing window. So thank you all. Thank you, James. And trust the process. This is all going to be very exciting. And now I'm going to cue Mark to take us to the finish line here.
All right. Hey. All right. Thank you, James and Boz. Can't wait to see Avatar Fire and Ash this December and for some awesome Avatar content to hit Horizon TV. And I can't wait to get the new fall 2025 line of glasses in all of your hands and for you to get a chance to experience Meta Horizon Studio and Engine.